Hey, it's Cordy. This is a quick how-to guide on how to make a basket of yarn, or really any ball-shaped item. So let's get right to it. The instruction list includes 21 elegant seat cushions. This is going to make the balls of yarn, an empty wicker basket, which is going to be the basket that holds the yarn. Optionally, if you also wanted to make the knitting project, you would need 2 checkered charming seat cushions, a naturally elegant doormat, and if you wanted to add the knitting needles, you would either need a loam wheel pot or 2 Dalaran posts. The Dalaran posts were really ridiculously priced on my server, so I wanted to supply another option. Given that we're making 4 to 5 balls of yarn, you're going to need multiple dye colors. I used bone white, lush green, horde red, dusk lily, arc wine, and night song lilac. The first thing you're going to do is place your basket. I pushed mine down into the surface about halfway to get the height that I wanted. You could leave it full, drop it into the floor or table, however it looks best for your build. I also scaled mine to 200%. The video is a little out of order. I realized partway through that there needed to be some bottom to the basket. So I used 1 elegant seat cushion, scaled up to about 200%, and pushed down underneath the balls of yarn. You can dye it any color you want. I used arc wine. And now when you look down into the basket, it'll look like there's other yarn underneath it and you're not looking down into nothing. The first step for making a ball of yarn is to lay out your 4 elegant cushions and then stand them all up vertically. From there, you're going to move each elegant seat cushion up over the basket. The first one's going to stay in its vertical position. The second one, you're going to rotate 90 degrees and push it into it. It'll make kind of like a cross. The third one, you're going to bring over and rotate it 45 degrees on the horizontal axis. So that's either going to be 45 degrees or 225, depending on which way you rotate the cushion. The fourth and final section to the ball is to rotate that cushion 45 degrees on the horizontal axis in the opposite direction. So this is either going to be 135 or 325, depending on which way you rotate the cushion. This will complete your first ball of yarn. You can dye the ball whatever color you like. I dyed mine horde red. After you dye the ball, you're going to push it down into the basket. Then you're going to repeat the process 3 times to make 3 more balls of yarn, each time rotating and setting up the cushions in the same way, where they make a cross first, and then you're filling in the 2 other sections at 45 degree angles. When you stack the balls of yarn, do them at different heights so that it looks like they're kind of laying on top of each other a little bit. Once you have that done, optionally, if you want to, you could add in knitting needles. The Dalaran posts were really expensive on my server, so I did use the loam cart as an option. This was scaled down to about 30, 33. And you're going to rotate it so that it's standing up and then leaning back and hide it other than the loam cart handles that are going to stick up to look like the knitting needles. Optionally, if you wanted to, you could do the knitting project. The first part of that will be to lay out the 2 checkered cushions. You're going to want to scale them to what looks good on your surface and then push them down into the surface a bit so that you're hiding as much of the ties of the cushion that you can. And then you're going to push these together so that it looks like one continuous piece. On this project, I did use the Dalaran posts as the knitting needles. I think they do make really good knitting needles. They were just 30,000 each on my server, which I thought was ridiculous. So I did go to a different server to purchase these for the video and got them for 4,000 each, which was a ridiculous savings. Next, you'll add another ball of yarn. The same way that we did it before, you're going to bring the cushion up, leave the first one as it is. I scaled them to 70. The second cushion you're going to bring up, rotate it 90 degrees horizontally so that it makes a cross. The third one you're going to bring up and then rotate 45 degrees to fill the gap. And then the last one, you'll rotate 45 degrees in the other direction to fill the gap. Then I dropped this down onto the table. I lower these by using the keyboard keys. Typically, if I count how many times I push it and then go for each of them, it lines them up pretty much in the right spot. And then I moved over the knitting needles so that they would be in the right spot. I used the Naturally Elegant mat, scaled down, and dyed the color of the yarn. And this was to add something that looked like a strand of yarn to link it all together. Congratulations, you now have an amazing little knitting station and a basket of yarn. Again, this can be used for really any ball type shape. You can make baseballs, basketballs. I made pet toys, really whatever is that shape that makes your heart happy. For all things housing, follow Cordy's World of Warcraft Housing on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Discord, or on the World of Warcraft Housing Hub. Happy building!